So you wouldn't think that that would be so you wouldn't think that that would be an option on the old StreamYard there, that I would be able to go live before having my video in place, but that's a thing. So yeah, so sorry that you guys got to see the darkness there for a little bit of time, I guess it was. But so I'm today gonna talk about this bad boy here, and I don't know how it's gonna show up in the picture. I think you see it. California gubernatorial recall election. To talk about how I'm gonna vote, talk about how I know other people are gonna vote, and it's all up to everybody's interpretation and plans and thoughts and concepts and ideas, and I'm just rambling. So I'm going to be straightforward and honest. This has been my first broadcast since the last broadcast that I did, and if you don't know what that is, that's fine. Anyway, I'm going to keep going. Sometimes in our lives we're affected by things, and just have to keep going. So here we are. So today I'm going to talk about the California gubernatorial recall election and what I wanted to discuss with you. And I've also got the start of a new series that we're going to be discussing today as well. But first, we're going to talk about the gubernatorial recall election. It is September 14th, so we're a little bit ahead of ourselves, but we do have a mail-in ballot, which I haven't heard any of the Republicans worry that the mail-in ballot might be a problem for the current governor. Didn't hear that. Didn't hear him say anything about that at all. So I'm pretty sure that everything's on the up and up with this one, because I know that the Republicans have that on lock. And I don't know if you catch the dripping of my sarcasm, but I marked it, so there we go. One thing that I noticed, which is good, but there's a lot of people that have a lot more money, is one thing that we've been talking about before on these, specifically when people are running for positions, that a lot of times the state, county, or what have you will charge for the statement, and sometimes that candidate can't afford the statement. I know that when I ran for Anaheim City Council, or when I was contemplating, I didn't end up running for other reasons, mainly that you have to get 100 signatures, and I kind of applied pretty late when I found out about that. But also the candidate statement was, I want to say, several $1,000s. And when I called the party and said, hey, I'm going to be running for Anaheim City Council, so what do we have in the old coffers for candidate statements? And after they were done laughing, they explained to me that that's not how that worked. So I would like to, like I said, I think that that's a big problem, that people, when they go and they write candidate statements, that let me start again. When they write their candidate statements, that they have to have money to have candidate statements, and so that gives an appearance of people that basically don't give a shit, and that's kind of a bad picture, because they really do care, and they're just not able to afford it, basically. So looking at this, I know what I'm going to do, but basically, so my issue with this is, one, it kind of depends on what the reason is. Okay, so let's look at at the reason here. Okay, so the grounds to this recall are as follows. Governor Newsom has implemented laws which are detrimental to the citizens of the state and our way of life. Laws he endorsed favor foreign nationals in our country illegally over that of our own citizens. People in the state suffer the highest taxes in the nation, the highest homelessness rates, and the lowest quality of life as a result. He has imposed sanctuary state status and fails to enforce immigration laws. He unilaterally overruled the will of the people regarding the death penalty. He seeks to impose additional burdens on our state by the following: removing the protections of Proposition 13, rationing our water use, increasing taxes, and restricting parental rights. Having no other recourse, we the people have come together to take this action to remedy these misdeeds and prevent further injustices. And I got to say, after reading the reasons, I am more strongly going to vote the way I was going to vote. But the governor's answer is, warning, this unwarranted recall effort will cost California taxpayers $81 million. It is being pushed by political extremists supporting President Trump's hateful attacks on California. In 2018, California voters elected Governor Gavin Newsom by historic margins. Now, one thing that does bother me is that he lies a lot, when it seems to me that it would be unnecessary for him to lie. I don't completely agree with the reason for recalling him, and I don't agree that some of those things are automatically a bad thing. However, I don't know about the $81 million, but I know that it being pushed by political extremists supporting President Trump's hateful attacks on California. I know for a fact, as you do, my fellow libertarians, that libertarians were out there, and libertarians that in fact do not support Trump in any way, shape, or form. So there's that. It was being on 18. That was weird. In 2018, California voters elected Governor Gavin Newsom by historic margins. I'm not sure if that's true. Newsom is working to increase funding for public education, protect and secure California's health and healthcare, improve water, roads, and bridges, address the challenges of housing affordability and homelessness, and prepare the threats of wildfires. Our budget is balanced, our fiscal reserves are unprecedented, our economy and unemployment are historically strong. But it's just a handful of partisan activists supporting President Trump. That's a lie. That's a problem with me. Like, I would vote out a political candidate for being caught in a lie. I usually would. This isn't the first case that there's been a lie. If you look at Prop 64, that was a lie. He wrote a law for legal use cannabis, but it totally discredited the entirety of using it for health. Made all kind of policies, and those policies were specific to markings to make sure it was out of kids' hands. That was the most important part of it. This is being done, like, you have to be honest. You can't just say that it's just a destructive recall scheme and we're not going to actually talk about the real thing, because you're a liar, sir. You're a liar. You know what? I think that is enough to recall you. I've changed my mind. I've changed my mind right now because of your statement, not this statement. I was going to say that I I hate to say it because it's a quote from Wag the Dog. You don't want to change horses in midstream. But you know what? I really don't like a liar in the position. I don't like somebody who's just going to straight out lie in order to keep power. And I'm going to vote to recall. I'm going to vote to recall because this is not true. He's saying that the only people that don't want Gavin Newsom are extremists and not, people that are just like, we want a better California, or we feel this way or that way. And he knows those people exist. But yet he's saying, so yeah, he convinced me. Yep. Your campaign against these people and the way that you made your argument bothered me. And everything that is right here is not something I would vote for. I would not vote for someone or vote to recall someone because they are supporting immigration and that they're giving sanctuary to people that are creating a sanction state for people that are maybe on the run or in bad situations with their countries, a place for them to come. I'm not against that. I'm for open borders. I know that some libertarians aren't for open borders. I know some Democrats that aren't for open borders. I know some Republicans that aren't. All the Republicans aren't for open borders, but I am for open borders. There's no reason why you shouldn't just be able to come across the country legally. Just go across a border to deal your commerce, go to work, whatever. I believe in the Statue of Liberty. I believe in those things. In short, I'm a libertarian in my mind. That's what a libertarian is. But being tough on crime, that means you're probably not going to prosecute and deal with officers that have gone beyond the pale. You're going to just, let police keep getting their military gear. Not going to be budget cutting, things like that. I'm not for that. I'm not for any of the things that they're saying. Like I'm trying to see here, but I'm guessing. I'm looking for told California to stay home, wear masks, and gathering with family and friends. Days later, in violation of his orders, he attended a fancy dinner with lobbyists at the exclusive French Laundry restaurant without masks and social distancing. Well, he secretly authorized a contract for nearly $1 billion to outsource mass production to a politically connected Chinese company. I don't know if that's accurate or not. But, but the fact that he just acts like, this is just some strange, this is just a lot of the commercials say this is a Republican only thing, and I know it's not. And he also now he's saying that it's not only Republicans, it's fringe Republicans. It's Republican power grab. And that means also that what he's doing by saying that it's Republican power grab is he's taking away what's been done by other political organizations that weren't even necessarily involved in any party. There's people that they were part of this petition, and they might not have been Republican, they might not have been, affiliated at all. So yeah, he changed my mind. I was really going to do that. I was originally going to go, and I was going to vote against the recall, and I was going to vote for my guy who it's funny. The more I read about him, the more I'd love to have him on the show, by the way. If somebody can get him on the show, that'd be awesome. So Jeff Hewitt, if you're listening and you'd like to come on the show, we'd love to have you on the show. This is who I'm going to vote for. Jeff Hewitt. I love this state. As a third-generation native Californian, I've raised my family and run a business right here in California. I'm ashamed that our state has deteriorated so much that grandkids may not be able to build their lives here like I did. Rising housing prices. I know a lot of my friends are leaving the state of California because it's the rising housing prices. And let's be honest, that's the Prop 13 folks, guys. That's like some of their right. Some of it's both. It's both taxes, but it's also it sometimes is also greed at the same time. Rising house prices, lack of infrastructure, a broken education system are the only start to our worsening problems. When I was elected as a county supervisor in 2018, I wanted to do my best to grow the local economy and rebuild crumbling infrastructure. I could have never imagined the challenges that awaited me. Instead of building roads, I was fighting with the state to equitably distribute vaccines to our county. Instead of building housing, I was spearheading research to help keep my community safe. Instead of tackling the homeless crisis, I was handing out food to families that were out of work. I'm proud of the work I'm guessing I and my colleagues have done despite the terrible and arbitrary edicts of the governor. For the unique combination of elected experience, small business acumen, and rarely seen backbone in a politician. As your next governor, I will address our water crisis first, setting aside funding for conveyance and expanding dams. Our housing shortage, education, and looming pension debt are all on my sights as well. As a proud libertarian, I can work across the aisle to get the job done. So, not being a Republican, not being a Democrat, he has the ability to reach across the aisle is kind of what he's saying. And I agree with that. I think it's really good. And I'm definitely for Jeff Hewitt. The other candidate that I know some people have thought about is Larry Elder. And I was looking at Larry Elder. There's something he said that bothered me right away. Let's see. The latest gas tax. Crime. Let's see here. Criminal justice. I will support true criminal justice reform. Stopping California's war on the middle class. All this seems fine. I thought, I'm trying to see where it went. Sorry. I know this is not entertaining. I should be entertaining at all times here. And Well, I'm not going to say he said something he didn't say because I don't see it. I thought he said. Hmm. Okay, I thought he said something specifically about that he wouldn't he didn't believe in defunding the police, but he did. I can't find it, so I'm not going to say he did. So that is basically my review of the candidates and my thoughts on the recall election. And yeah, I realize I'm cheating. I've got my I've got my thing and I'm reading it to you, but maybe you don't have the time to read it, and maybe this will get you to look at it yourself. You'd be like, I don't think it says that, and then if you go and read and then you vote, then I feel like I've done my job a little bit. Also, another one that I wanted to talk about is Nicholas Wildstar, who was a libertarian, ran for governor as a libertarian as early as last year. His statement isn't very long, and I don't know if that has to do with if they charge for it or not. I'd have to ask him, and I actually probably could find out. I know he ended up in some legal trouble, and I'm glad that that's all fixed and that he was able to put himself in that position. So tonight, I wanted to take a little bit of time to start a conversation about a subject, and that's the subject is basically in the party. I've heard a lot of people discussing if it's acceptable for a member of the party who's an activist who is involved in the party to have a YouTube channel, or to have a blog, or to have a bully pulpit, basically, that they are giving a message through and talking about what's going on. The question has come up, should people in political positions have talk shows, blog, podcasts, or YouTube shows? And it's been brought about, they've talked about some people maybe not being able to do that, or that they should have to pick one or something along those lines. So I wanted to address that in a couple different segments, and the first one starts tonight. And the first thing I wanted to talk about is I wanted to look at the history of the United States, and I wanted to talk about the fact that we had our forefathers, and they went around handing out the Federalist Papers, which were documents explaining how things, what should be expected from your government. Basically, taking that information that was not necessarily available to the people, and handing it around in the town square, or handing it around more. And I don't know how far they got it, but I know also that one of our founding fathers, Benjamin Franklin, had a newspaper and made sure that the information was available to the people, and used the newspaper to put out information and make things more clear, and to get people involved. That's a staple. That's been a way of the government officials have done this, at least at the beginning. And then when you look at people that were sitting in office, you look at FDR and his fireside chats, where he would, where he would speak on what was going on in the nation, not just the State of the Union, but more informational, and this is what's going on, and this is what we're doing, and this is what we're thinking. Those fireside chats were around. So when I look at that, I think, that's not a bad it's not a bad way of going about it, of letting people know. Now, when you look at it, especially with our party, it's not like there's a lot of people that are in the know. It's not like the information is available, and it's not like we're not, we're trying to get more people involved. And one way to get more people involved is this thing right here, this YouTube, TikTok, WordPress websites, Twitter, Facebook, any kind of social media that can get somebody's attention, that has the ability to reach and gain more people. That's a value, and I think it's kind of weird for us to turn our nose up at it. But there are other issues. There are other philosophical issues I'm going to look at. I'm not just going to look at, this is just a brushing, if you will, of the surface of the idea of this. And we're going to definitely look at this more in depth and kind of come to some conclusions. There's other issues that'll be looked at. One of those is obviously, okay, if you're doing that as a service, fine, then how much money should you be able to make out of it? Should you not be able to make money off of it? But if this is what you're doing, then, and it's how you're paying your bills, is that acceptable? If you're a member of the media, should you be involved in government? Just being right here, does that make you a member of media, and therefore you have to consider the ethics of media? I don't know. My intention is not to answer that question, but to give enough information so that you can make an informed decision. Because now it's a time to be reasonable. And the way in which we achieve reason is by making decisions for ourselves, by having the proper amount of information and the logic to make those decisions. I'm Frank Perkins, and thanks for tuning in. Oh, if you want more information, you should probably subscribe.